Yeah.
Literally after like 2 months,
You just figured out who I was.
I just figured out
Yeah.
who you were again. I was like, okay, we found her. She's a real person.
Yeah.
I wasn't on a meth tangent again, like fucking pretending that I'm scheduling people that aren't there.
So, what are you doing in Austin?
This.
You came here for this?
I came here for this, and I also spoke at a Way Out last night at
okay.
at a
Nice.
recovery
Beautiful.
bonfire that they had. I work with Felicia at Sport Clips, and our home office is here. So I'm in Austin probably 4 times a year at this point. And I recently started my own business. I still work with Felicia, but I'm trying to get my business off the ground. And, you know, I love being part of the recovery community, but anything I can do for more like visibility is, you know, what I want to do.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. This is your first podcast?
No. No. I've done like 4 or 5 at this point. Do you know Kevin Lanning?
No.
Rise Above with Kevin Lanning. It's a recovery-based podcast out of Florida. That was my most recent one.
Okay.
And then I did one at home in Connecticut as well. And I'm a hairstylist, so I've been on a couple of like podcasts in the hairstylist
How's the
community as
recovery
well.
community in Connecticut?
Not as amazing as it is here.
Is it?
I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. This is, I mean, what I experienced
Austin's
last
insane.
night was fabulous.
Yeah.
And I've gone to meetings in this area when I traveled here for work before, more so in Georgetown, because that's where the home office is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I experienced last night was phenomenal. I'm not saying the recovery community isn't great in Connecticut,
Right.
because recovery community is great no matter where you go.
Yeah.
But like every single person that I spoke to last night, it's very clear just in the way that they speak, the kind of program that they work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always the case
Yeah.
where I'm from. you
Where
know?
I'm from, like whenever I go back home, I'm from Southeast Texas.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
From Vidor, which is near Louisiana,
Uh-huh.
really close. And whenever I go back home, I always tell my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna catch a meeting while I'm down here. And there's just fucking not there. There should be a lot of meetings for back home because
Yeah.
there's a lot of drugs there.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of meetings there.
Yeah.
Like you have to go 25 minutes away for a meeting, or you got to go fucking the opposite way. It's like, man, it's crazy that there's just like here, there's a meeting on every fucking corner.
Yeah.
Really.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. I don't necessarily have to go far for a meeting, but I have to be like just real aware of people to make sure that I'm not surrounding myself with somebody who's still kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
somebody who's not doing the work, I guess. You know, somebody who's showing up to meetings, but like not doing anything else. So
I get that.
Yeah. Trying to not surround yourself with assholes is like 30% of life.
it really
Kinda.
is.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a good chunk of it.
And I'm not here to
And
judge.
then you have the undercover assholes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge, but I can assess
Yeah.
and, you know, decide
Yeah.
whether I want somebody in my circle. you
Am I an
know?
asshole?
I don't know yet. I'll let you know at
So
the end.
you're not
actually.
that good at assessing, just saying.
We need to talk a little more before I make that assessment. I don't know.
You're kind of pushing towards it.
Yeah. Like so far, that question, asshole. All right. If you had to ask, you're already on the fucking list.
You would know if you weren't. You know? I'm just kidding.
Oh boy.
This is a lovely neighborhood. So this is your house?
This is
It's
it.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
With a brick walls as soon as you walk into the home. It's just
What's funny is when salespeople come by, they're like, "Oh, you have a podcast?" And so I'm like, "Yeah, you go subscribe. and
Yeah.
Then come back and talk to me
Right.
about what you're trying to sell,
yeah.
motherfucker. You should have already known."
Dude, you know what? You should trip them out and be like, yeah, dude, you want to come in? We're about to film.
Yeah.
You should come
right.
sit down on the couch
Yeah,
and
come on
Yeah.
in.
but before we get started, take your shirt off.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what? I
Take your-
said take your shirt off.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. I'm gonna try it next time.
Do it.
See how it does.
See how it goes, man. I always try and freak out salesmen.
Yeah.
They walk up to my door or to my door.
And you live like close by?
In Pflugerville.
Okay.
Pflugerville.
Yeah.
Closer to, she's been to my house.
Nice.
Yeah, several times. By the way, I
Sounded
want to get
terrible.
some shirts made for my niece's. She's in Georgia's band, University of Georgia, and her section had all like started following me, and now they're reaching out and they're like, hey. So I kind of want to get them some shirts made, and I'm gonna make it easy, just like extra larges for every one of them. But it's gonna be like red and black because that's University of Georgia. I'm gonna try and get them to like do stuff on our.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. But
Get them to wear it during a game.
they can't do that.
I know.
They
but,
got
I
to.
mean,
The band people, they dress up like fucking Captain Crunch, to play their horns or whatever.
bro, UT's band fucking gets on it.
Yeah, dude, I mean,
They get on it.
they're all insane.
We were going to the UT volleyball games. My daughter plays volleyball, so
Nice.
I would bring her and some of her teammates to every game. And they would have the swim team show up. But the swim team would stand on, they switch sides of courts. But when the UT swim team is on the opponent's side, they would fucking strip down to just their skibbies.
Nice.
and like they're serving as these dudes are all in their Speedos. It was fucking great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Felicia, this is the first time you've been here, right?
Yes. I mean, I've done drop-offs at your house.
No, I'm saying like in the studio. Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've watched your
yeah, but like this is a live one. This is long overdue for you.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah. I think that's why I'm so nervous.
we need a. you're like it's real. It's real.
Tyler.
We need to get Tyler over here. Tyler Walker.
He's already been on.
Yeah, he already did it.
I get him and your husband mixed up. Connor Groom.
So Connor is, I don't know. He would maybe almost need to come and watch somebody do it.
Mm-hmm.
Connor gets like stage fright.
Yeah.
And so we actually, this was 4 years ago, but we did a baby dedication for our daughter.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, so Connor and I got pregnant. We had only known each other a month. We got pregnant.
Yeah.
We got married in 4 months. It's great. Well, after Journey so I had seen a little bit of his stage fright, but not to the extent that I saw it at this time. So baby dedication, they're recording us doing a video that they're going to play at church. Connor, earlier that day, had this beautiful speech, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, he's the leader of our family. He's going to lead it.
Yeah.
He read it to me. Thank God I have a really good memory because he froze.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, they're asking us questions, and he's like sitting there and he can't talk.
And this was just with so it's not in front of
Like
a.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know what was on that piece of paper, and like trying to remember. I kind of got it, but it would have been a lot more better if he would have remembered what he
I
said.
kind of do the same thing though. Like if you get me in front of a group of people, like I'll start to be like,
So
hi.
he
But-
has grown since then. I mean, he is 5 years sober now.
Yeah.
And he was like a year and coming off Xanax and stuff.
Yeah.
So his whole life has changed. So I think that he could. I think that he could, do this.
Yeah.
I think still in his head he is that scared addict that can't be in front of the crowd. So
I'd love to have him on because
Yes.
when we were chopping it up at the house, and he's a good dude. Good, I mean,
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's really great. He has a great story.
Yeah.
I've heard his story is insane.
Yeah.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah, he has a great story. So I don't know, maybe we convince him to.
yeah.
I mean, he does have a good story. So
I'll convince him.
his number, y'all both.
I think I have his number. I think I do.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. Like even back when they've been around each other, I always get Tyler and Connor mixed up.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry I didn't remember you either.
No, you're totally
But-
fine. I literally so when I met you,
Say he's an
I
asshole.
had pink hair and it
Fucking
was
asshole.
not the shade I wanted.
Yeah.
So I met you with neon pink hair.
Yeah.
Definitely mortified now, but that's probably why. I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably like shocked. Right? It was like his brightest for shoes. It was pretty bad.
Nice.
So anyway, I'm actually surprised maybe you didn't remember. Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. But yeah, you should definitely try to get Connor too.
I would love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
We good, Rad?
So is this live?
Oh,
we're
No.
not
yeah,
doing
we've been
that.
recording.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
but it's
Yeah.
coming. This will come out in a couple weeks.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, so we filmed one yesterday. We have one out now that just came out, but we'll be releasing the other one. and then you will go after that
Perfect.
one.
Sounds
So
good.
we'll let you know. We'll keep you
Yeah.
in the loop.
Sounds
on,
good.
on how it all goes. But
That's actually a pretty quick turnaround. It's usually, in my experience of the couple that I've done, it's been like 6 weeks, 2 months.
what we're finding, we found that out too, just by going on other people's. Like
Yeah.
they're filming like 3 or 4 in a day
Yeah.
every week,
Yep.
and then it's just like,
And then
Yeah,
you gotta
somebody at
wait.
the gym asked me in December to go on their podcast. I said, sure, when? Like a week, 2 weeks? He said, oh, it'd be like in April. I'm like, fuck, okay.
If I remember.
just fucking send me a text,
Yeah.
brother. I got you. Just let me know ahead of time.
so Red, do we need a clap?
Do I have to clap too?
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
you
might as
do.
well.
Yeah, we're not going to be the only clappers
All
around
right.
here.
Wow. My clap was just a little slower. That's all. It's like a slow clap.
It's definitely, there was definitely some slowness of all 3 of us.
Yeah.
Don't make fun.
All right. And just like that, we are back to another episode of Two Addicts and a Moron. We have a very special guest in the house today. Came a long way. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Connecticut is in the motherfucking building. Megan Blanchett, everybody. Hey.
Happy to be here.
Hey, yeah, you came so far
I did.
from a very small state.
A very cold state. Although you are rivaling us for cold right now. It's been freezing the past couple days.
Look, we do it big here in Texas. We are the opposite of Connecticut, kind of in every way.
Yes, that
You
is
know?
correct.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
This is kind of crazy. It
Yeah.
always like shocks me when people come far
Yeah.
and wide to like come on and sit down with our dumbasses.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the best thing ever. It's like really humbling. So we really appreciate that. Shoe game is strong,
Thank you.
and we've heard that you have one hell of a story.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that right now.
Okay, perfect.
So let's start with how long have you been sober?
My sobriety date is December 31st of 2019. So I just celebrated 6 years.
Okay, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Nice. That's the day off from you.
No, December 19th? December 31st?
You said
31st,
31st.
yes.
So mine's January 1st.
Oh,
Yeah, day
nice.
off.
Not
So,
2019 though.
so you decided to get not high anymore on. See, I had one more day in me. I'm fucking doing it big tonight.
Yeah.
I'm getting fucking smashed.
I
don't remember
actually,
shit.
I did not, that's not when I got sober, technically. I got sober in June of 2015. But I had an incident, which I will talk about, with some medication, which is when my sobriety date changed.
Okay.
So I have been in recovery since June 4th of 2015, but my sobriety has not been continuous. So my date is in 2019.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But what was the DOC for you?
I'm a heroin addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
But really anything.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Like a lot of people kind of say that. There's very few that are like, what's your drink of choice? Meth. Like, but with some people, it's like, what you got,
Yeah,
man?
exactly.
I'll fucking dump it.
Did you smoke it, shoot it? What'd you do?
I am an IV user.
IV user?
I started, it started in high school, right? With, I started smoking weed, and then I started drinking, and then I started doing a little bit of cocaine, maybe some ecstasy here and there, and then hallucinogens every once in a while. And then my disease progressed into IV heroin use in my early 20s.
Okay. So where would you say that your active addiction started?
Oh gosh. Well, for me, my addiction, I believe that I was born with it, the disease,
Okay.
right? Both my parents suffer from this disease as well. So I do believe that it is hereditary for this addict and alcoholic. But really, when my life started to become unmanageable and things started to really get out of control, around 18, 19, and then I would have like periods of manageability, but it always led to much less manageability and much more wild and out of control until I hit my breaking point.
Okay. It was so standardly progressive. over
Pretty
a period
much.
of time.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm an only child, and both of my parents, like I said, have had this disease, and, my father, he's a friend of Bill's. He's in recovery. He's been sober for about 20 years now.
Nice.
My parents got divorced when I was 5. And, my mom, unfortunately, never did find sobriety. We lost her in July of 2024. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Not as a direct result of this disease. She had cancer. But at a certain point, she just couldn't take care of herself because she was drinking a lot. She was smoking a lot. And she wasn't able to do what the doctors were asking her to do. And at one point, I think that she just kind of gave up because she kind of stopped taking all of her medication. She fell and broke her hip. Then she got pneumonia, and that's ultimately what took her out. So, alcoholism did not directly kill her, but it played a role in my mind,
Sure.
How old was she?
66.
Okay. Yeah, that hip thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's I know that's gotten a lot better here kind of over the last like 15, 20 years with repairing a hip. But I
Yeah.
remember like before that, where it was like somebody fell and broke their hip and they were old. That was like,
Well,
it.
a lot of clients that we have at our job, like we're in sales and most of our clients are retired,
Yeah.
70, 80, 90. And when they break their hip, like it's normally a 50-50 shot if they make it or not.
Yeah, it's tough.
My mom's 75 and she broke, I don't mean to laugh. Sorry, Mom. She broke her hand the other day. And
Oh,
I was
no.
like, how'd you break your hand? She's like, well, I was standing on the bed trying to hang a curtain. I'm like, you're 75. What the fuck were you hanging?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I
Bro.
said, she said, well, I needed to hang the curtain because it matched my bedspread. I said, who the fuck's going to see your curtain?
Yeah.
Like, who are you bringing in that room? Nobody. Okay, so why didn't you just wait for somebody?
Sometimes you just like shit, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
And I told her, I said, you're too old to be standing. So she fell off her bed,
Oh, no.
bounced off her bed, and hit the dresser.
man, you're a piece of shit, dude. You're just like laughing at your mom's misery.
Broke her hand. I love you, Mom.
Poor thing.
I know,
Oh, that's
dude.
awful.
This is a the world's worst son right here. Like, so let me tell you this great story about my mom breaking her hand.
Now you know who the asshole is.
All right. So how long were you in active addiction then?
So, well, I took my first drink pretty young,
How young?
13.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear some people's stories and it's like 5. No,
Yeah.
I was 13. But being the child of alcoholics, I always said that's not going to be me. So I you're going to laugh. You guys have DARE here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like in 5th grade.
Yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Real good program.
Remember when they used to carry like the board that had all the baggies of all the drugs on it?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember
they
that one.
do. Well, in Connecticut, they used to carry. It was like a poster board, and they, it was for educational purposes. They had little
Oh, it
baggies
educated the shit
of
out of
all
you,
the
I bet.
different. No,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why that just popped into my head, but they did. He had this like poster board. But anyway, in the 5th grade, in my entire town, like out of all the 5th graders in my entire town of Southington, Connecticut. I'm originally from Bristol, but I was in Southington at the time. I was living in Southington, and of all of the 5th graders, I won the DARE medal.
Right.
Like they present it to the child who has been the best student of DARE for the entirety of 5th grade, and that was me. Which is very
Congratulations.
ironic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I wish I still had that thing. I do not have it anymore.
It'd be neat to find out like all the kids that won that medal.
Yeah.
Like, did it work? Like,
Yeah.
did it help them
No.
going forward?
No.
Or were they like, yeah, then I started smoking crack?
Right.
You
Well,
know?
and that's exactly what happened. So I, not in the 5th grade, but I took my first drink when I was 13. I had gone through a breakup, and you know how tough breakups are when you're 13.
oh,
Like
yeah.
it was really rough.
They're
My
the
friends were
worst
drinking.
ever.
Yeah, my friends were drinking, and so I drank that night, but I kind of hated it. It was awful.
Yeah.
So it was a while before I did again. Really, when I started drinking and smoking weed on a regular basis and like dabbling in cocaine and ecstasy, I was around 17.
Okay.
And I got sober aside from, the medication reset of my date, my relapse. I got sober when I was 30. So about 13 years
Whoa.
inactive. That doesn't mean I was doing heroin that whole time. I
Yeah.
wasn't. That was from age 22 to 30. So about 8 years doing heroin.
When you were doing heroin?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, we had a young lady on yesterday. her mom was dealing with it, but it all came to a head for her when she was 12.
Yeah.
And I always think about that age, like that 11, 12, 13-year-old. It's such an impressionable time, man. Like, it's such an important time.
It is.
You're weird, like you're
so
awkward.
weird.
You're trying to find your tribes, and
Yeah.
like tribes are mean. Like
Yes.
some tribes are not cool, and others are they're drinking, and it's much easier to go fit in over there
Yeah.
than it would be with the others, right?
I will actually die on this hill. As far as adolescence goes, like, birth to 18, middle school is the worst.
Oh yeah,
It's the absolute worst because, in my experience, the kids were the meanest. I was one of the only sixth graders that had hit puberty early.
Mhm.
So I developed early, which meant all the little boys loved me,
Yeah.
which meant all the little girls hated me.
which is so much worse.
Uh-huh.
I mean, boys were stupid, and girls, you guys
Awful.
remember shit from the
Yes.
5th grade.
Yes.
You're like, you told me I had an ugly dress. So
Yes.
like, bitch, we're fucking 45 years old now.
Bro.
Like, you're holding this grudge right now. Like,
My wife will be like, "Yeah, I don't like her." I'm like, why? She reminds me of this girl I went to 3rd grade with. I'm like,
exactly.
you
It's
don't
like
fucking know the girl.
not even applicable anymore.
But because
Like,
she reminds you of someone from long ago, you're like, fuck her.
Yeah.
Well, some of those wounds run deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
well, look, you guys are so much more emotionally evolved than dudes. Like, dudes are just not a whole lot happening up here.
I know.
And
I know. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, listen, as a child, it's difficult in middle school. But as a girl that was disliked by other girls, it was really tough because you're starting to have relationships. What are these relationships even in middle school? You're holding hands and maybe pecking each other on the lips after school with everyone watching. But like, when one's little boyfriend would develop a crush on me, I was public enemy number one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to say that I was this like gorgeous, amazing. I was awkward as heck.
Yeah.
But I had boobs.
Yeah.
And so that was the only requirement for the little boys to, to really like me.
I mean, not a whole
That's
lot
still one of the-
changes. Like,
that's still one of the only
as we get
requirements
older,
now.
that's just,
Yeah.
that's the height of our emotional development there. It's like, she's got nice boobs.
I like her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, never really goes away. So,
No, it doesn't.
so talk about your journey into, when did you realize that you had a problem? When was it that like you specifically understood it?
When I understood it, I was probably I was in my early 20s. The first time that I found AA, I was in my early 20s. I wasn't ready for it, so I didn't stay.
Did you go on your own or?
No, so my dad was already in.
Oh, okay.
And my dad,
Did he drink or did he do other stuff too?
he did, but like in the 70s. So what was he doing? Like acid and weed? Like it
Okay.
wasn't,
Yeah.
he didn't do anything more advanced than
Yeah,
that,
I
I
got
would
you.
say.
Alcohol is pretty advanced.
Alcohol's very advanced.
I'll die on that hill.
Yes,
Quaaludes?
I
Didn't
agree.
they do Quaaludes back
Yeah, that
then?
was-
Whatever the
He
fuck
might
a
have.
Quaalude
I don't
is.
know. He was a hippie. So
Yeah.
whatever the hippies were doing, my dad was
Yeah.
doing. So, when I graduated from high school and I'm a cosmetologist. Like I said, I'm a hairstylist. So I went to hairdressing school and that was really just one big party, and I don't remember much. But I have always been intelligent and I've always tested well. It's a gift that I was given to be, a person that is able to take standardized tests well.
Mhm.
So when I graduated from hair school, I was able to pass my boards, even though I don't remember much of school at this point, but I was able to pass my state boards and I got my first job. In that first job, I'm 18, 19. I am, drinking a lot. I'm smoking weed. I might be doing some cocaine sometimes, but like things weren't really unmanageable yet. I moved to Boston when I was 21. My best friend was in college there and she asked me to move there to live with her for a year, for her senior year of college. And so I did. I moved up to Boston, and I brought, because I can do hair anywhere, right? So I moved up there and that was the point where things started to really get out of control. I didn't start thinking that there was an issue until towards the end of my year in Boston. But during that year, I was partying a lot. I had a job, but I was stealing from that job to support my habit. I was, doing things on the weekends. My best friend at the time, she was going to school to be a publicist.
Okay.
And so as a result of that, we were friends with all of the rappers in Boston, the DJs, because that's the world that she was trying to break into in her career. And, so we did a lot of partying with those people, and I did a lot of really just kind of nasty stuff. Like in order to get what I wanted, I ended up using my body to get what I wanted, embarrassing her, embarrassing myself, finding the one person at the party that I knew had what I wanted and then not leaving them alone until I got what I wanted. And so that's when things really started to, and I had gotten my first credit card.
Oh boy.
And cash advances were a thing. I was like, oh, free money. It wasn't free money
Yeah,
at
no.
all. But I thought I was living the life, but really stuff was going downhill fast
Yeah.
for me. So after she moved out of the apartment, she moved to New York to start her career. We still had 3 months left on the lease. So I stayed in Boston, and that was right around the time that I found my first meeting, because my dad called me one night. It was like a Tuesday night. And I am 1 whole gallon of Carlo Rossi sangria deep at this point by myself on a
beautiful.
Tuesday night. It was gorgeous. That
Yeah.
stuff is awful. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm having heartburn right now just thinking about it. And, so my dad knew that I was wasted. He was like, Meg, have you ever thought about like maybe going to a meeting? I was like, I don't need a meeting, Dad. What are you talking about? Like, I'm fine. I'm 21. This is how I'm supposed to be. But then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, I'll give it a whirl. It's working for my dad,
Yeah.
so I'll give it a whirl. But I just was not ready at that point to do anything about it.
What were your feelings like in that meeting? Can you remember that?
I mean, I identified with some of the stuff that some people said for sure. But I was like, I'm not as bad as these people.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like my life, I mean, really, I'm doing okay. These people are telling stories that are blowing my mind. Like I'm doing all right, So I, and I did actually end up getting a sponsor too, which was wild. And I remember her cat had just had a litter of kittens.
Nice.
So she gave me a kitten,
No.
which was great.
Beautiful.
But I didn't get anything from her besides the kitten. Like
Okay.
Not that she wasn't a great person in recovery and a resource at that point. I just wasn't ready to receive anything besides a kitten
Right.
at that point in time.
Okay.
I mean, if she had like 13 kittens to give away, at least you took one off her hands.
I got one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
What was the kitten's name?
So initially the kitten's name was Bella,
Okay.
because I was told it was a girl. And then,
And then it grew balls.
and then Bella had a little incident with the recliner where her little leg got stuck underneath it. And so I had to take her to the vet. And they said, what's this cat's name? And I said, Bella. And they said, those are balls. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, okay. Well, let's stick with a B, Brutus.
Okay.
I changed it to Brutus.
You went from the most feminine name on the planet to like the most masculine
did.
name.
I changed it to
Ever
Brutus.
made.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
his
cool.
name was Brutus after that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right.
Uh-huh.
And how many times did you have to go to treatment to? beat
I had
this
to go to
thing?
treatment in my recovery, but I did not in Boston.
Okay.
When I moved back from Boston, I moved back in with my dad. So I'm living with my dad at this point, and things were just okay. I mean,
Yeah.
things were not wildly out of control. But I was dating somebody, and that ended horribly. Just because. And his sister always really liked me, the guy that I was dating. It was kind of the worst. And so his sister always really liked me. So she was like, you know what? I have this friend, and I really think that you guys would like each other a lot. And, so why don't you guys, get coffee or something? So I did. I went out with this guy. His name was Eric, and I got coffee with him. And we hit it off, man. We hit it off right away. So we start dating. Like I said, I'm still living with my dad at this point, but I'm starting to like stay at his house on the weekends and things like that.
Yeah.
He calls me one day and he says, hey, I'm not going to be home from work until late tonight. So can you go let the dog out? And, I'm still partying at this point, I'm still, at least smoking weed every day, drinking quite a bit. But, like I said, things are kind of manageable. He calls me and he said, "Hey, will you go let the dog out?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I go and I let the dog out, and I notice that there are shot glasses of water on the coffee table. And I was like, that's weird.
Shot glasses of water.
Shot glasses full of water. Yeah. And I was like, that's really weird. And then I saw the empty wax baggies of heroin in the trash.
Oh.
And I put 2 and 2 together that those shot glasses full of water were for injecting,
Yeah.
right? Like it was for shooting up, And so I called him, and I'm at his house, and I had let the dog out. I called him and I said, "Hey, unfortunately, I cannot date you. Like, there's just absolutely no way that I can continue on with this because, I knew myself. I knew that this was extremely dangerous for me. Like, the red flags were going off, the alarm bells were going off. But, so I said, I can't do this." And he immediately was like, "I'm going to come home right now. I need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." So he comes home and he sits me down and he says, "I've been wanting to stop for a while, but I love you." It's been 2 weeks.
Okay.
Ish.
Oh boy.
At this
Okay.
point, but I know what a relationship in active addiction looks
This
like.
sounds
And
this sounds like me
it
anytime I've
sounds
ever been
real
high.
familiar. Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, man, this is
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
right
We've
here.
been together for 2
Fuck.
weeks. Do you want to go have on a baby? Like,
Yeah.
do you want to,
You want to go half on a baby?
yeah. So
This sounds like
yeah,
every
this is
drug relationship
yes,
I've ever had.
exactly. So things were moving quickly.
Yeah.
And, I think he might have already asked me to marry him at that point. We're like 2 weeks in, but he said, "Hey, he came home and he said, I've been wanting to quit for a while." And he said, I love you. So I'm going to stop for you. And I said, "That's
my
the kindest thing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I can't believe you're going to stop for me. Wow, you must really love me."
Mhm.
Yeah.
The reality of being an active addiction is that I cannot stop for anybody.
Right.
I just can't. It doesn't mean he didn't mean it when he said it.
Yeah.
It just means that it was impossible.
Right.
But I believed him. He believed himself, but he didn't stop. And so eventually, I started with sniffing it, and I said, I'm not going to shoot it. I'm never going to shoot it.
Yeah.
But then the day came when I was ready to shoot it, and he told me no. I'm not going to do that for you because I didn't know the mechanics of it. I didn't know how to do that. But he told me no, and I said, "Well, if you don't do it for me, I'll find someone who will," because I wanted it. And so I do not blame Eric in any way, shape, or form for anything that has happened in my life. For my choice to start using heroin, that was my choice. I was an adult. He just happened to be there when it happened.
Mhm.
Yeah. And knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
Had
exactly.
the knowledge and
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. And I use Eric's name because, we were together for a few years of really drug-fueled, nasty, awful stuff. He owned a house when I met him that was given to him by his mother. It's the house he grew up in. She ended up running away with a boyfriend down to Florida or something, and she just kind of passed the house to him.
Mhm.
And, we lost that house. It was foreclosed on. We lost all of our belongings. The only thing we had left was a pickup truck. So we were scrapping. We were doing scrap metal for money.
Mm-hmm.
We got an apartment, a very cheap apartment on the 3rd floor in an apartment building in Bristol, Connecticut. And, we were very, very much delinquent on rent by the time we left there. And, the electricity had been turned off.
Oh, boy.
And it was off for like 3 months, and it was the middle of the summer, and it was just so freaking gross up there. It was so awful. But every day it was just wake up, go get a front, then go get some metal, bring it back to the scrapyard, get some money, go pick up enough dope to hopefully get us through that night and into the next morning. But there's never any left in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not how it works, or it's not how it worked for me. So, and then the same cycle every single day.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? Like the things that you go through in addiction. Like now, when I look back at it, like there was plenty of times like where my water was shut off,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd go turn it back on, and then the city would come turn it back off and put a
Mhm.
lock on it because I
Mhm.
turned it back on. Or like our electricity, I had my gas was out for over 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
and when I went to have it turned back on, they wouldn't even turn it back on. The city had to come inspect it because they said if we just turn it on, it might have a leak or something.
Yeah.
But like looking back, I used to give my daughter cold showers and cold baths, but it's something I would never do today. Like if our electricity went out right now, I'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I'd get it turned back on.
Uh-huh.
But back then, it was like, well, at least I still got some dope. Not really a big deal.
Yep.
But it's crazy how you prioritize your day based on getting high. You know, I've seen a thing the other day. It said, "Don't let you've never seen a drug addict say, I don't have any money today. I can't get high today." They
Never.
figure out a way
Never.
how to get high.
Yes.
And it's crazy the things that we prioritize, like wake up, get a front,
Mm-hmm.
go get some scrap metal,
Uh-huh.
try to make a little bit of money to be able to buy some and make it through the next day. Like
Yeah.
that's what our day was.
Yeah. And the money that we made scrapping, there was never like buy food. There was
Yeah.
never like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? There was none of that. It
Yeah.
was a pack of cigarettes, 2 if we were lucky, maybe a McDouble, but first came the dope.
We're gonna
and then
split
everything
that.
else, came behind it.
Yeah, we have the 7-Eleven here that did 2 slices of pizza in a fucking a fountain drink
Yeah.
for $3. Yeah. That's
Perfect.
That's the greatest thing for anybody that's a drug addict.
Uh-huh. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Today in recovery, there's a deli right near my house. And they do, when you go in there and you buy a sandwich or you buy something, from them, they have this little board where people will buy an extra sandwich
Yeah.
or whatever. And then they put the little pieces of paper on the board so that, people who are homeless, people who are struggling,
that's-
people who are,
It's a really good
know,
idea.
can come in and take one off the board and, get what they
Really?
need. And every time I go into Enfield Deli, I do that.
That's
Really?
really,
Yeah.
that's
Shout
a
out to
really
them.
good
Because I would have been so
idea.
grateful for something like that back then.
Man,
you know?
especially like a sandwich
Yeah,
too.
imagine,
Like
you know?
instead of a McDouble.
And
Like,
I have been
Change
in
it up.
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I have been in there when and I want to correctly say the name. It's Enfield Produce, not Enfield Deli. But when I've been in there when somebody comes in and grabs a ticket and gives it to him, and we can spot each other, right? So
Yeah.
I know that this person is an addict, right? Came in, grabbed a ticket, handed it to him, and he talked to them just like they were anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He carried on a conversation with them. He asked them all the specifics they wanted on their sandwich. Like he treated them like a human being, like any other human being, the same way he was treating me.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, this is great.
I wonder if he had, or if he had a problem. sometime.
Maybe it's
Or
possible.
if he knew somebody in his family.
Yeah, it's possible.
And that's awesome. That's an amazing. What's the place called?
It's called Enfield Produce. I live in Enfield, Connecticut now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called Enfield Produce. It's right on Enfield Street.
Shout out
Can't
to
miss
that.
it.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Enfield Produce.
Yeah.
Shout out
Man.
to
Like
him.
I'm
You're
gonna
doing
just,
amazing work. Bro.
That's
Yeah.
a great thing that
Yeah,
he's
it's
doing.
fabulous.
Sorry for pausing your story there.
No,
for
that's
that.
okay.
That's a
I wanted
really
to make
cool
sure to
thing.
shout that out
Yeah.
because
Amazing.
because back then I would have been really, really grateful for something like that.
Yeah.
So we're just going and doing every day. I mean, and like when I tell you, I might have been showering once a month.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, it was bad. It was
Yeah.
so bad. And like there was one point where I had ended up in detox, because I ended up in detox multiple times throughout this journey. There was one point that I ended up in detox and I had this my skin was all discolored on my chest and on my upper arms. It wasn't red. It didn't hurt. It was just a different color. And I was like, am I getting vitiligo? Like what's happening with me? Like it's, And when I went into detox, they looked at my skin and they were like, we're going to take a better look at that. And I had a fungus.
All right.
I had a fungus on my skin and I had to have a special shampoo and the whole, body wash, whatever thing, and I was able to use that because I was in detox. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that was happening for me. I remember, sometimes we would be really, whether, something would happen where we weren't able to scrap that day or we weren't able to, have money that day. We would end up finding somebody that had Suboxone.
Yeah.
And we would take a Suboxone, because buying one Suboxone for each of us is way cheaper than buying enough dope we need to be off sick, right?
Yeah.
So we would end up buying a Suboxone. And wouldn't you know it, every time that happened, we would always come into some money,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then shit, because now you're going to get sick.
Can't do it.
Or you can't do it, right? So we would get Suboxone. And when we would come into money on those days, still got to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So we would end up buying some coke or buying some crack or buying, whatever we could get our
Something
hands on.
else, change it up.
Dust.
Yeah.
Dust was a wild ride. I don't know if you've ever done angel dust before.
Never.
No.
I've been
It's
around people that
is a
Or-
combination of PCP and embalming fluid.
Yeah.
And so it is wild. It is a very strange feeling, but whatever we could do, to get fucked up. And I remember one of those times that I went to detox during this time of my life. Once you're an IV user, at least for me, I wanted to IV everything.
Yeah.
So when we would get cocaine, I would shoot it. When we would get, now shooting crack is a very difficult
Wow.
thing to do. So it's a chemical process. Turns out you have to break it down. So you can use either lemon juice or vinegar. Not that I advocate anyone doing this. This is a horrible. Do not do this. It's
Don't
a
be
horrible
taking
idea.
notes.
Do
Yeah.
not do this. But you can use lemon juice. You can use vinegar. And you can break it down into a liquid. So then it's then injectable. One of the times that I went to detox, I had this like huge.
You're shooting lemon juice or vinegar in your body?
Yes, that's because that's what you use to break it down.
Did that
Really?
hurt?
Not if you got the vein, but if you missed, it hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a young lady. We won't say her name. We won't say her name. She missed her vein. She broke a needle off,
Oh, that's bad.
and she had to go to the emergency room and get it taken out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He talked about it on our podcast,
Yeah.
man.
Abs.
Yeah.
Abby did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I go to detox. I have a very large abscess on my arm at this point. It's one of the times that I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm going to detox. So I go to detox and I have this huge abscess on my arm. And they're looking at it. It wasn't like a traditional abscess.
Yeah.
And they're looking at it and they're going, what is that? So I'm explaining to him, like, well, the poor doctor. I'm explaining to him, well, when you shoot crack, you got to break it down with vinegar. And that's what I did. And I missed the vein. And so this has been here for like a week. And he was like, vinegar? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, have you ever he was trying to explain it to me. Have you ever marinated a piece of meat in like a vinegar-based marinade? I guess, sure.
Yeah.
He goes, you know how the outside turns brown? And I was like, yeah, I guess. He goes, you're cooking your arm. You're literally cooking the meat of your arm right now with the vinegar. So thank God I went to detox because I probably would have lost my arm at that point in time.
Man.
When I hit the vein, it was fine, but I missed that time and I almost paid dearly for it. Yeah, it was wild. And that's, it's not funny now, but it's wild.
Isn't
it's,
Like listening to this story right now, I'm going to time out here. It's crazy to me that you're talking about shooting crack.
yeah.
And the thing that I'm most concerned about is that it's vinegar and lemon juice going inside of your arm. I'm like, no, not lemon juice.
That just sounds like it
Do all
burns
the
like
crack
a
you
motherfucker.
want. But like, geez Louise.
But not vinegar and
What are
lemon
we
juice.
doing?
Yeah, no, it's wild.
That's insane. Well, so Motley Crue, like the band,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They were all IV users
Yes.
for a long time. And I'll never, when they're talking about like on the back end, when it was starting to get real dark, like
Yeah.
Nikki and Tommy, they were injecting Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And they were like, we could just fucking drink it. Like,
And
but
so little.
we're like,
But
we're just putting it right into the vein.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, yeast or whatever is in Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Like, we're just hammering it inside of us.
yeah.
It's nuts. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of common. Once you start injecting, there's like really no.
Well,
Yeah.
because the feeling of that is different than,
Yeah.
it's the same type of high, but it's very different than when I snorted it or when I, did any other type of administration, whether I took an opiate painkiller.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. It's instant. It's a lot stronger. So you just kind of, as an addict, I just adapted that philosophy to everything. Like, I just want everything to be instant and really strong,
Yeah.
That was the reason I never started shooting meth.
Yeah.
I snorted it at first, and then I started shooting it, and then I did a bunch of hot rails. That was the way that I always did it. And I would give people shots of it,
Yeah.
but I would never do one myself because I seen and I read about it. When you're on drugs, you read a lot of shit on the internet, especially on meth. And it said, what I read, it said like your serotonin levels, the highest they go to is like 150, and that's when you come. And that when you shoot meth, they go to like 3,000.
What?
Now, yeah, I
That's
don't know
wild.
how true that is. So I read it, and I was like, never doing that because I will never stop.
Yeah.
Like if you tell me that feeling would go to 3,000,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to see people that would shoot it and then just have an orgasm right there on the spot and be like, yeah, I'm never doing that.
I'm glad that I didn't know that
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like real glad.
Yeah.
Because if I did, I would have been seeking it out.
Yeah.
Meth is not very prevalent where I'm from.
Really?
It's just not. It's around, I guess, but like I have never done it.
Oh, really?
It just in the north, I guess, or maybe it's just where I'm from in Connecticut. Like, there's a lot of people doing a lot of other things.
I think
but
heroin's
meth is
bigger
just-
up there
Yeah.
than most. Probably heroin and crack.
Yeah, and crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in and out of detox and I'm doing, all kinds of crazy stuff. I've got fungus on my skin. I've got abscesses on my arm. I mean, things
Cooking
are just
your
wild.
arm meat.
Cooking my arm meat. Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes. I remember I told my best friend that story and she was like, I wish you hadn't told me that.
Yeah.
Like, because she
I'm
was
not gonna
like,
lie, I kind of wish you didn't tell me that. Like right now, I'm over here, me and Radu looking at each other like, like the normal people of the crew. Jeez, Louise.
well, here's the thing. If there's anybody that listens to or watches this podcast that has ever done anything like that, you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I told the story,
100%. Like I mean, that's what we do this for.
Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's different. That's different than anything we've ever had told here before. So talk about your way into treatment where it stuck.
Yeah. So I got, I had more years of just nasty, disgusting. I ended up breaking up with Eric, into detox, and because we had both been arrested. We both have records at this point. So I break up with him because I need to get sober. Like I need to do something. So I go to detox with every intention of actually getting sober. And unfortunately, just didn't work out because when I was in IOP, intensive outpatient, after leaving Eric, and going through detox, I met another guy. And, we were going to save each other's lives because his drug of choice was different than mine. And so we were going to do real great things together. And unfortunately, we did not. So that was just a few more years. I ended up moving down to Florida, where there was meth, but I just had the wherewithal. Like opiates are my thing. So I just never really, did it. And then the time that it stuck for me, this is 2015. My addiction has progressed to a point where I am living back in Connecticut, in Bristol, which is my hometown. And I am living in a tent community, because I had bounced from house to friend's couch to friend's couch. And, everybody loved me, but like I burned every single bridge.
Yeah.
Either I stole from them or I did drugs in front of their kids or you know what I mean? Like it was just not, not directly in front of them, but like was intoxicated in the house and their kids are there. And you know what I mean? So I just, I couldn't find any place to stay. I'm still with the guy that I went to Florida with. We moved back together. But I'm walking down the street. I'm walking back to my tent. I haven't showered in a week. I, probably hadn't eaten since the day before. I am considering listening for the next car that's coming and jumping in front of it. Because I can't imagine living like this for one more second. There's a helpline in Connecticut. I'm sure every state has something similar, but in Connecticut, it's 211. So you pick up the phone and you call 211, and there are people there. It's like a non-emergency line. And they have, help for people who need to get into treatment or need to get into, and I had never done a rehab. I'd done detox a million times, but I had never done a rehab. So at that point I made the call, I got into a detox facility, and then I went to rehab. I just was so sick and tired of being fucking sick and tired.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't, I was ready. And I believe that there was the intervention of a higher power at that point as well that made me ready, cause I mean, listen, I could have fallen through the trap door in that rock bottom and hit further deeper down rock bottoms. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I had never been to prison. I had never, killed someone either directly or indirectly as a result of my addiction. Like there are other, things that could have happened, but those are all yets for me. Right. Like I haven't done that yet, but let me pick up, a drink or smoke a joint or, and I'll get there.
Yeah.
Give me time. You know what I mean? So that's when I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready. So I went to this inpatient rehab, 28 days. Wouldn't you know it? I met a guy.
Hey, wouldn't you
Yeah.
know it? Fucking guys, man.
Everywhere I go, I meet a
We're
guy.
the worst.
You know, I met this guy, and oh my god, I use Eric's name, the guy that I started using heroin with, because unfortunately he died as a result of this disease.
Man.
You know, he overdosed and passed away shortly after we broke up. And I didn't leave that man because I didn't love him. I left him. I mean, I loved him as much as a very broken, toxic, drug-addled person could love another person.
Right.
You know, but I knew that I was going to die if I stayed with him. And so when we broke up, I then met the next one, who I won't name because he's still alive. But, you know, that's the one I moved to Florida with, and things got really toxic and it was just awful. But for me, I always needed to be in a relationship. Like I had to be, because I was so afraid of being alone. I had this, like, you know, idea in my head, or this belief in my soul, that unless a man wanted me, I wasn't worth anything. And so, you know, that was my measure of whether or not I was worthy of anything. So of course somebody paid attention to me when I got to rehab. And even though I had absolutely zero business paying any attention to this man, he was far older than me. His street name was Batman. Like,
Sweet.
it was, you know, listen, it was wild. It was a wild time to be alive.
Batman.
You know, but I remember one day, you know, my relationship with a higher power has not been linear. Like, I didn't come in believing that God could save me. I didn't come into recovery believing that, like, you know, my higher power was one that was loving and forgiving and kind. It was like, stand, sit, kneel, you're going to hell. Punishing, you know, that was my experience as a child. And so, but I remember we had a pastor come into the rehab facility one day, and I was like, hey, I know I need a relationship with God, but like, I don't know how to do that. He was like, well, you got to pray. Just pray. And it doesn't have to be like formal prayers, but you just got to talk to God. So I did. I got on my knees that night in my bedroom, and I asked for God to relieve me of the obsession with this man, because there was some level of me that knew that it was going to take me out.
And this is Batman.
This is Batman.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good start, right? This
So
guy's
look.
name is Batman. Can you please relieve me of like being obsessed
Relieve
with
me
a
of
dude?
Batman.
When
Name fucking Batman,
when you
please.
met this guy and he said, "Just call me Batman," like did that not like throw
Oh,
up
the
any
red flags were
Okay.
red flagging. They really were. The red flags were. There were many reasons that the red flags were red flagging. You know, it wasn't just the street name of Batman.
Call me
There
Batman.
yeah, just call me Batman. Okay. Are we
Sweet.
going to Gotham? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know? But
The bat signal was out.
the bat signal was blinking.
Yeah.
You know? And I knew that this was bad. And so so I got on my knees and I asked whoever was listening to please relieve me of the obsession of this man. And the next morning, you know, I'm in a co-ed rehab, and you are not supposed to have any kind of like intimate relationship in a co-ed rehab.
Yeah.
Like, it is highly frowned upon.
Yeah, they kick you out.
Yeah, they kick you out. So the next morning they caught us kissing, and they kicked me out. They kicked me out of rehab. Now, they did not kick me out into the street. I'm going to give them that. They, they kicked me into a waiting facility for my next bed at the intermediate program that I was headed to. And they kicked me out and not him, because he was there on jail diversion. So it would have been a lot more paperwork to kick him. I was there on my own accord, right? So it would have been a lot more paperwork to kick him out. So they kicked me out, kept him. And that, I now realize in retrospect, was God relieving me of the obsession, right? Like, that was God doing for me what I couldn't do for me, you know?
Yeah.
Because I would have followed that man to the end of the earth, even though I had no business doing so.
Right.
Right. And I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know if he's still, you know, in the Batmobile riding the street. I have no idea.
He's definitely not.
Yeah,
like
no,
he's not
probably
that
not.
cool. He does. That guy does not have a Batmobile.
No,
like
he
they're.
does not.
You know what's
yeah.
funny is we
He does
go
not.
do karaoke every week,
Do you? Nice.
and there's a guy that goes to the karaoke place that we go to, and he goes by Batman.
No shit.
Like when they call him up to stage. So I wonder if that's like.
I don't think so. This guy's, I mean, the last I knew he was in Connecticut.
You
but I
want to
don't
go
know.
try some karaoke?
No,
tonight?
thank you. No, thank you. I could live the rest of my life never seeing that man again, and I would be okay.
And so when you said he went by Batman, that's why I lost my shit, because this guy literally goes to karaoke, and when he goes on stage, it says Batman.
Yeah.
No
I
way.
swear
That's
to God.
awesome.
Yeah,
You know, maybe they're everywhere. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean,
Maybe
wears a
every
cape.
every
Superhero.
Gotham needs a Batman. So I
Yeah,
guess,
it's super-
Did he wear a
super cool
cape or
guy.
anything? Or no?
absolutely not.
This
No.
guy does.
No, so that's I mean that's a very cool way of looking at that.
Yeah, well, you know, I was saved in that moment. And in that moment, I also decided that like I needed to spend some time by myself.
Did you realize? So you realized that in the moment.
I did.
You didn't realize like, oh shit, like they just broke us up or anything like that.
Oh,
You
I
realized-
was terrified.
Yeah. Okay.
When they said we're kicking you out, and I said, "What do you mean? I got nowhere to go. I live in a tent. What do you mean? Like, where am I going?
Yeah.
Where am I going?"
Yeah.
You know, and then they told me that I was going to be going down to the other house, and I was mortified. I think I was more mortified that I thought I was in trouble
Yeah.
than of actually like losing contact with this man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, you know what I mean?
Like, look, you lived in a tent.
I was-
like, where the fuck you?
I was fine. Where am
Yeah.
I going?
Yeah.
Right. So they sent me down to this other facility, and you know, but at this other facility, I had a mentor, someone who worked there, and you know, they said they were also in recovery, and they said, you know, the suggestion is a year to you know not like be with anybody in a romantic way,
Yeah.
and I said, you know, yeah, I can do that, and they said, yeah, I would like for you to try 5 years. And I said, 5 years?
Yeah.
That's a lot. But I also knew that I was so terrified of being alone. And I knew that I had to conquer that fear because I wanted to be a whole person by myself. I didn't want to have to like need anybody else, you know? So he said, you know, I'd like for you to give me 5 years. And I said, I'll give you 3. But I did. I did give him 3. I stayed single for 3 years. And in that 3 years, I figured out who I was. I figured out what made me tick. I figured out what my needs and wants were out of this life without being influenced by anybody else that I was trying to please in a romantic relationship. And that was huge for me. That was really huge for me. But I'm in this facility, and I am, you know, they're bringing in outside meetings. At a certain point, we got outside passes to go to outside meetings. So I find a sponsor and I start working the steps. And I went from an intensive inpatient program to an intermediate program into a 6-month halfway house. And after the halfway house, I moved into a women's sober house. And then after that, I got an apartment with another female in program. And at that point, we're at about 3 years. And that is when I met my current boyfriend, who's wonderful and amazing and so kind. I actually almost broke up with him when I first started dating him because he was too nice.
Yeah.
He was too nice.
Yeah.
He was too gentle, and he was too nice, and he was too kind.
The
And I
green
was
flags
like,
were green flagging with him a little too hard.
This
You
is
were
wrong.
like,
I don't like
hold
this.
on a
I don't-
second.
This is not how this is
So
we're
supposed
we're
to
not
be.
living in a tent.
way too many green
Right.
flags going
Honestly,
on here.
no, but you know, he was so nice, and I was like, because I'm used to. Here's the thing about toxic addiction relationships. Yeah, the lows are really low. They're on the ground. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're getting hit. Sometimes, you know, there's a lot of screaming going on. Like the lows are low, but the highs are also really high.
Yeah.
And so I went from this to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it is currently. And, you know, it's wild. But this is very nice. And
Yeah.
I like it a lot, you know, now. But initially I was like, I don't know, he's too nice. I don't think I can do this. He felt so safe to me, but I met him and then I moved in with him. But yeah, I mean, being in recovery, I ended up finding my footing in AA. And the reason for that is because, you know, that's where I found the person that I wanted to be my sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, I tried all kinds of different meetings, but the person that had what I wanted, that I wanted to sponsor me was, you know, in the rooms of AA. So that's where I ended up. And, you know, I worked the steps and, you know, my life was going really, really well. Like I got a job. I have actually had the same job since I started in recovery. So about 10 years now.
Nice.
But I have, you know, gotten promotions and moved up in the company over that time. And, you know, it's just been an absolutely beautiful ride. That doesn't mean that sometimes it doesn't fucking suck.
Yeah. No,
Because
of
it
course.
does. Sometimes.
Life gets lifey, man.
Life's, you know?
Life's it
Life
up.
life's. But there is nothing today that I couldn't make 1,000 times worse by picking up a drink or a drug.
For sure.
Like, no matter how bad it is. I'm an only child, and I was always really close to my mom. Yeah, she had her battles with alcohol, but like, you know, we were always really tight. And my mom always managed to keep her life somewhat together, you know, like never ended up in a tent, you know, always had a home and a job and, you know, all that. And, you know, so, and we always had a relationship that was really, really close. And, I thought for sure, like when I got sober, I had one reservation, and it was if my mom dies, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go through that.
Yeah.
But I was because because of my higher power, because of the people around me, because I was surrounded by so much love.
Yeah.
And because I knew that there was like I could have made it 1,000 times worse by picking up in that moment.
Let me ask you this, because me and there's a few people at work that are in recovery, and we always joke about if we started using again, how long it would take before we burned our life to the ground. And mine's probably 2 months.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 months before I went through all my money, before I lost my house and fucking lost everything. So if you started using again, how quick would you burn? How quickly do you think it would burn to the ground?
I would say probably about the same, 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, I own a home today.
Yeah.
I just started my own business. I am still in the same job that I've always been in because my business is not lucrative enough for me to quit that other job, right? Not that I would necessarily want to, but I have, this beautiful life today as a result of this program and of God and, all of that. But it would not take me long at all because I truly believe that even though I'm sober, my disease is still progressing.
Sure.
It's still ramping up.
Yeah.
Right. In behind the scenes.
That's a good way of looking at it.
This is a progressive illness. So
sure.
Even though I don't have a drink or a drug in my hand, doesn't mean my disease isn't getting worse every day because it is. So I think that I would go from 0 to 100 real fucking quick. If I were to pick up today.
Yeah. Same.
So talk about this stumble that you had. I want to, because it sounded like you were pretty strong in your sobriety, and then you said an injury.
It wasn't an injury. It was a surgery. But it was an elective surgery. So when I was 29, my front tooth broke off. Completely just broke off of my mouth. Because I didn't take care of myself. Like I said, I showered once a month. I had a fungus. Was I brushing my teeth? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And so my teeth were rotting out of my head.
Yeah.
And so I had my front tooth break off when I was 29. And at that point, some of them were so bad that they ended up pulling out, 8 of them at that point. And I got a partial denture. And when I got that partial denture, I was told that, your bones are going to recede. Like, where you have no more teeth. Your teeth is what holds those bones down in your mouth, right? So your bones are going to recede over time and, whatever. So I get this denture and, I'm like, whatever, I have dentures. I'm not even 30 years old. I have dentures. It's fine. But I was still in active addiction at that point. So in 2019, I had been sober for almost 5 years. I had a great job. I had built a relationship with my dad again. I'm in this great relationship. I had just moved in with my boyfriend. We dated for about 1.5 years before we moved in together, which was wild for me. I'm like, a week, let's move in, But I'm doing everything right. I'm working my program. I'm sponsoring women. I have a sponsor. I'm going to a lot of meetings. Like I'm doing everything that I was supposed to be doing. And, I decided that I wanted to get implants, a full top of implants. Because the bones are receding. And my dentist at the time told me that the more your bones recede, if you ever want to get implants later in life, we may have to take bone from your hip and put it in your mouth. And it's going to be a much larger, more extensive surgery.
Crazier surgery.
Maybe sooner rather than later. So I've built a relationship with my dad at this point. He's willing to co-sign for the loan because it's $30,000 to get this done.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So he's willing to co-sign for the loan for me. And so I get my teeth done. Now this surgery, my dentist told me you're going to need painkillers. And I said, I can't take painkillers. Like I'm in recovery. I refuse to do that. I won't do it. She said, you're going to need them. And I said, yeah, but and a lot of people are like, oh, I know, you don't need them. Here's what the surgery was. They pulled out the last 5 teeth that I had in the top of my mouth. They cut my gums right down the center all the way around. They grinded down all those bones until they were level. They inserted post holes for screws. They sewed my gums back together over top of that and then screwed my teeth in on top of that.
That sounds more awful than shooting lemon juice inside of your arm and cooking it.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Now that we're talking
it was
about
an
it.
11-hour surgery.
Yeah, that's rough.
That I was awake for because anesthesia was an extra $5,000 and I didn't have that.
What?
So
you were awake during this process?
I was awake. I remember my boyfriend, the place where I got this done was like real close to our house. So he had dropped me off that morning. He left. He came back because they told him it was going to be like 3 hours. So he came back 3 hours later, and I don't know this. I only know this because he told me the story. He came back and he asked them if they were done, and they were like, "No, we're not done. If you want to have a seat, you can, but it might be a little while yet." So he sits down in the waiting room, and all he can hear is me screaming in the back.
Oh
right?
my God.
And he's like, "Megan, I had to go home. I had to go home because if I sat there and continued to listen to you scream, I was going to come back there and like punch the dentist in the face for making you scream
dude.
like that. I had to go home." And I was given laughing gas, like, but you can't be on laughing gas for 11 hours.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
a lot of
there were
laughing.
periods of time, where I couldn't be. Anyway, it was a really bad surgery. My face was huge for like weeks. I couldn't eat solid food for 6 months. Like, it was wild. So, she told me I was going to need painkillers, and she was not wrong. I did.
Yeah.
But before this, I did all the work. I wrote a letter to my higher power. I talked to my sponsor. I set up a plan. I did all of the things, like I talked to other people in recovery about like, how am I going to do this? And so I developed a plan, and I'm enacting this plan. My boyfriend is not an opiate addict in any way, shape, or form. So I said, "Will you hold these pills and give them to me as prescribed?" And he said, "Yes, I will do that for you." I said, "You got to hide them. Put them somewhere that I don't know where they are." He said, "Yes, I will do that." So I have the surgery. I start on the painkillers. I'm taking, now they're fives. It's not
Yeah.
like they're crazy, right? They're perk fives. He gives me one at a time. The bottle said I could take 1 to 2 as needed for pain. He gives me one at a time every 4 hours. And about 3 days in, December 31st. Well, it was a couple days before that because it happened twice. About 3 days in, when he gave me the one, I like put it underneath something and waited for him to give me the next one. My intention was to feel something, right? In the moment, I didn't even realize, like, because the bottle said I could take 2. So my addict brain rationalized this by saying, "Well, the bottle said you could take 2, and you don't want to ask him for 2 because then that would be weird, and like you don't want him to suspect anything. So like really, you're still taking them as prescribed. So wait for him to give you the next one, and then you can take the 2, but you never have to tell anybody because the bottle says you can take 2,
Yeah.
and so it's fine, So I rationalized this in my brain, and that happened twice. About 2 weeks after it happened the second time, the medication's gone. About 2 weeks after it happened the second time, I'm in therapy, and I just like casually mentioned it to my therapist. My therapist was also a person in recovery. She was like, "Have you told your sponsor that?" I was like, "It's weird. Why would I tell my sponsor that? Why would I tell my sponsor that I did that? I took it as prescribed. What do you mean?" She goes, maybe tell your sponsor." Like, I was in such denial about it, maybe tell your sponsor. So I did. And I said, "I have to reset my date, don't I?" She was like, "Listen, I'm not going to tell you what you have to do."
No.
She said, "You did take it as prescribed, but also what were your motives?" She said, "So I'm going to give you the option. Like, you could talk to 100 people in program. 50 of them will say you don't have to change your date because you didn't pick up a drink and because you didn't take it outside the bounds of the prescription. 50% will say you absolutely do because of your motives and because you were trying to feel something."
Yeah.
So, I hemmed and hawed about it for a couple of days. I was talking to another alcoholic about it, and she said to me, she looked me right in my face, and I'll never forget this. She said, "Do you want to do what feels good or do you want to do what feels right?" Fuck.
Yeah.
So I reset my date because it felt right. You know what I mean? It felt right. And I was so scared. Like, what's my disease going to try to get away with next time if I sweep this
If I
under the
let it
rug and
go.
act like it's cool?
Right.
Right?
Well, kudos to you.
Thank you.
Big deal.
Thank
It's,
you.
like, I know I had hernia surgery, and I was like, I'm not taking anything. And it was the worst pain that I've ever went through. Like, fucking, it was because they put a mesh in my stomach. I never realized how much you use your core to, like, get up and things like that. And it was fucking terrible. But I know that if I would have done any if I would have taken the prescription the way that I wanted to take the prescription, it would have been 100% to feel something.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing. I had Destiny hold it for me and just give me a half. I didn't even take the full. I was like, just give me it. And it sucked. It was terrible. But I won't lie. Whenever she gave me that half, I was like, I wasn't saving that son of a bitch. I was like, I'll take this motherfucker because it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, kudos to you.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's a real big deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I honestly, I mean, I'm listening to it. I don't even know that. I mean, again, you got to do what feels right for you in
Yeah.
that moment. But I don't know that I would have reset the
Yeah.
thing based on what you're telling me.
Yeah.
And the normie here,
Yeah.
moron guy, just like
Yeah.
outside, because you went into that doing all the work, preparing yourself for what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. Got the boyfriend. Kudos to him too, because him hiding all of that stuff and making sure that it's going to you in the proper way. I mean, you went into that with a full understanding
I did.
of where it could go, and you came out of it kind of in the same spot, just my perspective
Yeah.
again, but you got to do what you got to do in that moment, right?
Absolutely.
And your guys' disease is a wild one, so it's probably very necessary, again, being a normie guy.
Yeah.
And that's really cool though, that
No, I
you
appreciate
were
that.
able to make it through that, because what you just described to me was awful.
Yeah, it
That's
was
terrible.
really, really
That
awful.
sounds awful.
Yeah, I will tell you that, like, and I appreciate that so much. It's funny. Like I said, my relationship with a power greater than me, or a higher power, what some people choose to call God, or, whatever that is, has always kind of waxed and waned.
Yeah.
Right. That's when my relationship to my creator got a lot stronger. And I will tell you, and that's because I am a literal bottom of the barrel homeless junkie.
Mm.
And the fact that I did feel something when I took those two, the fact that I did feel something, the fact that I made it 2 weeks before telling anybody about it, and then and that I did not end up in a tent community with a needle in my arm, that was a miracle that was not performed by me.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that's exactly where I would have ended up. Right. So the fact that everything went down the way that it did, I won't say that it didn't get worse because of my strength, because that's impossible. I believe that I'm a strong woman, but when it comes to my disease, the disease was awake.
Yeah.
And there was no reason that I shouldn't have ended up in a gutter somewhere, but I didn't.
Yeah, you nudged it.
I did.
You
I
nudged
did.
it. You,
I
you went
totally
over there and
did.
did one of
Yeah,
those things.
I did.
In its hibernation.
I
or
did.
whatever.
And I will tell you, Daryl, my boyfriend, was absolutely phenomenal through that. And it's not the only time that he's been phenomenal with something. There was a period of time where I wasn't sleeping really well. And he is, we'll call him a normie for the sake of argument. He's really kind of California sober. Right?
Yeah.
And, which was difficult for me at first. And I had to do a lot of work on before I actually agreed to date him. Right. Because I knew it was dangerous for me. I have tried to just keep weed before. And unfortunately, someone was like, hey, do you want to smoke some crack? And I was like, fuck yeah. Because there's comes to a point where it's just not enough. Right.
Yeah.
But so he partakes, and it's legal in Connecticut, so I can say that. But I don't. I choose to abstain from all things. And there was a period of time that I wasn't sleeping really well, and I was taking CBD. He was also taking CBD, but his CBD had a lot of THC in it, right? So they were next to each other in the fridge. I go to take mine one day, and I take it, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm on the phone with a sponsee. Now, this was before the medication incident. This was a couple years before that, when I had just moved in with him. Or no, when we had just started dating. And I'm on the phone with the sponsee, and I'm like my mouth started getting real dry. And I was like, oh no. So, and then I look up at the screen of the TV, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. So I hang up with my sponsee. I go to the fridge. I look at the bottles. Fuck, I took the wrong one. I took his. Now, how much did I really take? I don't know. A very little bit. But for me, who has absolutely zero tolerance and hasn't had a drug in years, I am high.
Yeah.
At this point, I am high.
Yeah, you're floating.
Yeah, I am floating. So I immediately call my sponsor, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm high, but I'm high by accident, and I didn't mean to, and I don't know what to do. And she was like, hey, did you do it on purpose? And I said, no. And she said, when you realized it was happening, did you go and take more? No. Okay, sit down on the couch. Tell Daryl what happened so that he's aware, right? Because you're freaking out. Sit down on the couch and just relax. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, man.
And I said, okay. So I sit down on the couch, and now I've talked to my sponsor. You know, I've told Daryl what's going on. So now I'm like kind of relaxing a little bit because like I know that like, you know, I'm going to be okay. So I look at him and I'm like, hey, do you want to play a video game?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, sure. So, you know, we start playing a video game, and I'm like trying to giggle with him. I'm trying to laugh with him. And he's sitting there like this. He's like completely stone faced. You know, so eventually I end up going to bed or whatever. And I wake up the next day and I'm talking to him and I'm like, babe, like your dream is to have a girl who will like get high with you and play video games with you. And like, you know, you had that for 1 day yesterday. And, you know, you didn't like, you know, you wouldn't even laugh with me. And he looked right at me and he goes, babe, I love you. And I did not want you to associate it with having a good time. So I refused to give you a good time.
That's cool.
And I said, what are you doing for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that was such a kind thing. Like that was so loving.
Yeah.
You know, he really is the best. He really is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, man, if I was your sponsor, like grab a pineapple Fanta and a fucking bag of Cheetos and turn on the Matrix and let's fucking
And
go.
let's
Like
fucking go.
you're here,
I
just fucking write it out.
will tell you though, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
I don't either, man.
I used to love it. I always said like if I didn't need heroin to be well, weed would have been my drug of choice. You know, I used to love it, but I did not like it this time.
Man, well, eating is so
Weed's
different.
Weed's the scariest drug for me.
Yeah. Is it? Like even when you were in active addiction? Like
Yes.
I mean, really?
It sends me to fucking Weirdville. And like I was you know what's funny is we went and played frisbee golf today, and two of the guys that went with us, I was like, me and Destiny were sitting there. I was like, man, someone's smoking. I
Yeah.
can smell it, and it was them,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. We didn't know. I said, no, I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me at all.
Right.
Like if you start smoking meth around me, I haven't been around that yet.
Right. You're not desensitized to that.
But all the other stuff, no big deal. I've seen people do coke around me or around at a party that I was at. That it doesn't bother me. But they were like, "Do you don't smoke or not?" I said, "No." I said that shit sends me into like, I'll be like, if I smoke, I'll think we're having a conversation, but we're really not. And I'll be like, so what about that yellow bird you were talking about? And you'll be like, what fucking bird? I'm like, that bird we were just talking about like 4 minutes. Like it just, things happen in my mind that
Yeah.
really don't happen. And then it just makes me sit there and be like, are you fucking with me? Like, we just talked about a bird. No, weed has always, since I was a teenager, weed has always been the drug that just sends me into fucking Weirdville.
No shit.
And it scares the shit out of me.
Still does for me too. Like I don't do it at all either.
Yeah.
I really want to real bad. Like I want it to be the thing that is like my brothers and shit. They're like they'll get together and they're having the time of their life, man. And I'm like, you put that shit in me, and I am paranoid.
Yeah.
Like I'm having arguments about what kind of human being I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, hey, you're a good guy. This side's like, no, you're not. You're the worst dad on the planet. I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
That's how it is
No.
for some people.
It's so
Yeah.
fucking like I get so paranoid on
Yeah.
it. I just freak out. So I wish I could do it. I
Yeah.
wish it was something that was awesome, but it's not awesome.
No.
Not for
Not
me.
for me
Yeah,
either.
not for me. So I definitely sympathize with you in that moment, because
Yeah.
if I would have done the same thing, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say though that was also a blessing in disguise and a miracle that was not performed by me, because before that I was romanticizing it.
Mm.
I was romanticizing it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I wish I could just, smoke with him and just, watch a movie, whatever.
Yeah.
And after that happened, no interest
Yeah.
anymore. You know what I mean? I was not romanticizing it anymore.
Yeah.
So that was a gift.
God,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
you want to play around? Here
Yeah,
you go.
here,
Take the
here.
wrong
You don't
shit.
want to read the right
exactly.
label? Let's go.
And I will say that after that, I said, you know what?
So did y'all separate them in the fridge now?
After that, I decided that I would find sleep without CBD.
Yeah,
I have not
okay.
taken it since.
Yeah.
It was too close for comfort. It was scary, and even when you take it, even when it doesn't have, a high concentration of weed in it, even when there's no way it's going to get you high, it still tastes like it. Like I had no
CBD,
business.
yeah, the CBD gummies I take to go
Yeah.
to sleep,
Yeah.
I make sure they don't have any THC, but they still taste like
They do.
and they still smell
Yeah.
like they do. It's weird.
Yeah, I
and the
had no
different
business.
colors, different colors smell more like it than other colors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I always whenever I'm about to eat them, and I'm always reading the label again, like, fuck, this really smells like weed.
Yeah.
But I always get the ones that are just CBD.
Yeah, well, where I live, I mean, listen, I could buy CBD at the gas station, but
Yeah.
it's like the wild, wild west out there with that shit. You don't know what's in it when you buy it at
Yeah.
the gas
Oh, yeah.
station. So I was getting it at the dispensary because it's very regulated, right? But in order for you to get it at the dispensary, there's a minute amount. Like, I'm talking, I could drink the whole bottle and not get high, but there is a little bit in
Really?
there, in the one that I was using at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So talk about life now, sober,
man.
and well, let's get into that in a second. I want to talk about your business. You have a business
Yeah, I
that's going on.
do.
What is that? What are you doing?
So, I'm a founder of a business.
All right.
The founder of my own brand. It is called Fiercely Meghan LLC.
Okay.
And I am a public speaker, a group facilitator, and a retreat facilitator. I am very fortunate that with the company that I work for now, I was every year they like to spotlight somebody and let them do a keynote speech at our national huddle, which is about 3,000 people. So it's a conference that we do every year. And I was very fortunate to have been given the opportunity to share my story, a much more watered down version than the one I shared with you here today. But to share my story at our national huddle, because I was chosen to be the one to do that. So I gave this keynote speech. It was about 20 minutes in front of about 3,000 people. And it was the greatest 20 minutes of my entire life. Like,
Nice.
It was just phenomenal. Some people get really nervous with public speaking. I get energized. I absolutely love it. I also am a person who I teach for a living. I'm an educator. Even though I am a hairstylist, I teach haircutting classes. I teach leadership training. I have been providing franchise support to businesses, small business owners and managers for years. So, but I also, as being a person in recovery and being a person who's really into like therapy and healing from trauma and emotional intelligence and all of that stuff, I truly believe that like what I would like to do is be able to give away what has been freely given to me.
Sure.
I have been taught that throughout my recovery, but not just to the recovery community, to anybody who is interested in healing, to anybody who is interested in, having more peace in their life, to anybody who wants it, anybody who wants to do the work, So emotional intelligence is sort of the center of it. But I can translate that into anything as far as leadership conferences, things like that, or even if you're doing like smaller things, women's groups, business groups, things like that, because I truly believe that bringing emotional intelligence and sort of the things that I have learned in recovery into anything will make it much more successful than it already is. And that's something that is just has been a dream of mine. And it's funny, I was in a meeting and I told my story. We speak. I was just being a speaker at a meeting, and somebody came up to me after and said, "Hey, you're a great storyteller." And I said, "Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that." She said, I ended up talking to her for a little bit. She's the sweetest woman. She was in this business. She owned a successful speaker bureau in Connecticut for like 40 years. She's retired now, but she offered to mentor me. So I started working with her. So we officially launched in August of this past year. I have my first official speaking gig this coming week. I'm very, very excited
All right,
about
where's it at?
It's a very small gig, but I'm so grateful for it. And it's my very first one. It is at the Bloomfield Public Library in Connecticut. They have a night event series for the adult programming. And so I'll be doing that this coming Thursday. Very excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's really good. And, so that's the business that I just started. You can find me at fiercelymegan.com. I am on all the socials, but whether it be my website or any one of my social